Productivity Arata. In the previous episode, in which we underlined the importance of task lists in order for you to become a more organized person, I mentioned the link arata.se/time management, which is where we see in detail how you can separate your tasks and lists according to context, time, and priority. If you haven't seen it yet, take a break and watch it now, the full lesson at arata.se/time management. Ready? If you resumed this video, I'm assuming you took a break, then you visited the link and you returned here. The link you just visited has many teachings taken from the Getting Things Done GTD methodology by author David Allen, which is very popular because it is a way of increasing personal organization and productivity. The minimum you need to know about GTD. And here comes a moment when I ask you to pick your notebook and a pen. By now, you already have a special notebook to write down the tips from the Productivity Arata series, right? So then write down these magical words: collect, process, organize, review, do. And what does that mean? Remember that during our previous video, we said that in order for you to become more organized with your lists, the first thing to do is to write down every task, be it on paper or on the computer. So that is the phase of collecting. And you won't be wasting a lot of time here. It has to be quick. Don't write a long essay. Write everything down using just a few words. What we want to achieve here is gathering of information, getting everything out of your head and in the paper, in your inbox. I'll explain what the inbox is in a minute. The collecting phase is used to note down everything related to your professional, your personal life, tasks related to your house, academic tasks, and leave everything in a place where we will process. Processing means looking at what we collected and perform a quick analysis. Don't spend a lot of time here. You will quickly read the information and ask yourself, is this something I can complete in 2 minutes or less? If so, do that now because there is no point in leaving it for later. If it takes longer than that, then I will keep processing. That is, I will organize this task for a specific list in a certain context and hierarchy. That is organizing. Organizing is essential because it is hierarchy that helps me to know what to do first, what to do second, and so on, always one step at a time. And I have to keep being organized. There is no point in doing all that in a single time in your life. As the events unfold, I look at the new data, new obligations that I will be collecting. That is, I'll keep sending everything to my inbox to be processed later. And the most important part is to execute. It is to do. I do those activities that I can finish fast, and then I do the ones that are top priority depending on the context. If I'm at work, working on project A, then I will find out what are the priorities and I'll execute them. Notice that most of my time is here, doing. The collecting, processing, organizing, they are very fast processes and I shouldn't spend too much time on that. With practice, you will gain speed. And then finally, some people like to take a look back at the end of the week to see the list and then perform the processing and organization phases, and that is reviewing, which is very important, necessary to keep everything tidy. There you go. That is the minimum you need to know and understand about GTD's flow. Let's move on. Have different lists with different functions. Write down on your notebook the different lists suggested by GTD. 1. Inbox. I briefly mentioned the inbox, which is the collect phase. Look, everything that demands more than 2 minutes from you must go to your inbox, and then you will process afterwards. What you can do in 2 minutes or less does not need to go to your inbox. It's much better to do it right away. 2. List of projects. In the previous episode, I've already shared this tip. If you feel that some of your tasks are very complex and take too much time to finish, then you need to break them down into various smaller pieces. 3. List of next actions. As you process, you will realize that there are some simple actions, some orphans, because they are not attached to any specific project or a given deadline. You can use this list to organize and mark the context to which they belong. In the next video, I'll explain what the context is. 4. Calendar. And here is a good tip. You will not write down every single little thing in your calendar. Just write down what has a specific date set up that needs to be arranged, for example, the annual checkup at the doctor's. Some people unnecessarily fill their calendar with activities that could be managed through other lists. The calendar is just for appointments. 5. Someday maybe list. The someday maybe list is special for you to pile up those tasks that you're not really sure you will perform now. Someday, maybe. So I'll write it there. 6. Waiting list. If you're the kind of person that works in a team and you used to be delegating tasks to other people, this list is essential for you to keep track of what's being done by others. But it can also be used for daily affairs, such as, I'm still waiting for Cousin Bob to return my toolbox. 7. Reference list. I use this one a lot, and there are different uses which I recommend at the students' area of Productivity Ninja course, which is Arat Academy's advanced course on personal productivity. You know, sometimes I come across a reference, an idea, some type of information, a video, a valuable link, and all that doesn't represent an action that has to be performed. But I want to keep it close so I don't lose it, I don't forget it. I want it as a reference, so I archive it in an organized way. If you found it very difficult, just take it easy. Next week we will keep presenting the GTD method, since there are many other items for us to talk about: context, revisions, projects, and so on. Meanwhile, I want to invite you to get to know how Productivity Ninja offers you an easier way to deal with so many different lists.